Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to cover the ArchLens module in TurboEA. The ArchLens module contains smart features enabled by AI. The one we are going to cover today is specifically the ArchLens AI Architect. Some forward and checklist before we start. All the output of ArchLens is AI generated, so use common sense, skills, and knowledge to verify that everything is correct. This is also a feature which is still being tested and developed, and it has never been in production. That being said, in order to make it work, you need to do two things. The first thing is you need to define enterprise architecture principles in your meta model. You can find that in the admin settings. The second part is to define your AI model also in the admin settings, and preferably use a commercial one in line with your data privacy policy and IT governance of your company. Moving on to the solution itself, you can find the Architect tab in the ArchLens report. You can start a new assessment, but in that case here, we are just going to reload an existing assessment we have done. In between each step, from business requirement to target architecture, there is an AI working and takes between 30 seconds to 1 minute to provide the output. So in order to avoid the lengthy waiting time in between each step and having to go through every single question, we are going to reuse an existing one, and I will show you exactly what was entered and what was the outcome of each step in a high-level overview. So we'll start with the business requirements. As you can see, we have typed in already some requirements to get a unified customer self-service portal where customer can track orders or manage their IoT devices subscriptions. It is mandatory to add a business objective here because whenever we have business requirement, it is to support a business objective, and we want to either improve a business capability or create a new one, and that can be done as well. Next step is the business fit. Some questions have been generated to refine the business requirements. Those questions either have multiple choices, you can pick whatever is proposed here, or you can simply type some free text to adjust to your needs. Next step is similar, it's for the technical fit. So in this section, we're gonna have to answer questions regarding NFRs, non-functional requirements. What are the SLAs? What is the availability of the system? What are the performance expected? The API calls, and so on. Next phase is a solution option where we can start to make some decisions. We will have typically 4 different choices spanning from reuse, extend, buy, or build, depending on your EA principle that you have defined. You need to pick one of the solution. It is really high level. You can pick one, and then you need to refine it in the next step. Next, we are the product selection part. This is where we define exactly which product we want to implement or which solution we want to extend. It goes into a little bit further details. So let's say if you want to buy a new solution, those solutions are gonna be mapped against your enterprise architecture principles, and they are gonna be benchmarked against Gartner quadrants, Forrester reports. It will have different classification, pros and cons on each solutions. It's quite comprehensive and it's very good. And the next step will be to analyze different dependencies. So depending on which solution you have picked, there are other dependencies, other IT components you may have to implement in order to make this solution work. So the dependencies are going to be typically IT components, middleware, and so on. In this specific situation, we chose to use the Azure Logic apps to make it work. But there are, as you can see, there are also other options which are available here, which are going to impact the target architecture. Finally, we are at the last step, which is the generation of the target architecture. Based on all the decisions we have made, based on the different requirements, we have generated an architecture which is composed of different applications, different IT components, business processes, um, business capabilities sometimes that can be created. The list is available on the right side here. You can edit the names, you can enable them or disable them if you don't want to see some IT components. Sometimes it makes mistake and create application instead of IT components. But you get a very good overview here in the diagrams of what has been generated. So the top exists already here, but the bottom are, you can see little tags with a new pill on every single new card. And all of those components are linked to each other in a meaningful way, right? In a way that absolutely makes sense for the whole solution to work together. If you are happy with that solution, then you can click on Commit and Create Initiative. You need to enter a start date and an end date for this initiative, and you still have a chance to choose which cards you want to create, which relation you want to create. You can edit the names as well. And once you are okay with that, you can just click on Create Initiative. And that's gonna take a while, so we're gonna speed this up. But basically, every single card is being created. We are using AI to generate the description as well. Um, and it's pretty much everything is automated. Now everything is completed. We can open the initiative to see what it looks like. So we have a new card created. The description has been automatically generated based on our business requirement as well as the decision we have made and the architecture. You can see the start date and date are correct, and we can find our dependency chart, which is centered around this initiative. And you can see as well that all the relationships have been created. Now let's zoom in on one of the application card that has been created. So if we click on it, we can see that as well the description has been automatically generated. Then as well the phase-in date and active date have been inherited from the start date and end date of the project, which means that when you look at different reports, when you look on with the time travel feature, you can see what your application landscape will look like as of 2nd of December in this case, because the application will become active as of 1st of December. If we scroll down, we will see as well the relevant dependency chart. Now we're gonna move to the EA delivery tab, and we will see that an ADR, Architecture Decision Record, has been created related to this initiative. The context has been filled with the decisions, the alternative considers have been documented. So basically, this ADR is ready for approval if need be. This is basically the, the reasoning behind why we need to make this initiative happen and why the architectural decision has been done this way. If you want to revisit the assessment, you can go into Report, ArchLens, Assessments, and then you will see again the assessment we have completed. And with all the requirements, business fit, technical fit, all the decisions which have been selected have been captured here. So for reference, it's very easy to go back and see what has been added. And that goes down even to the target architecture, still with a comparison between previous state and new state. So that's also another benefit, is that you don't lose track of what you have added and it gets completely embedded into the inventory without traceability. So thank you a lot for your time for this. I hope this has been very helpful. I will put the links in the comments below so you can access the documentation and all you need to know about TurboEA and ArchLens.